What is up, guys? I'm Hub Smash, and I wanted to talk about crosshairs in Overwatch. It's a pretty simple and fairly boring concept, but it's something that's pretty important, and I get a lot of questions about it. I see a lot of questions about it, so I wanted to just go over it and see what see if I can help people pick the right crosshair for them. So really, what you want to do is you want to first look at the options, right? The options available to us. So let's just take a peek. We're going to see that we have bloom, we have the type, and we have the color. It's pretty straightforward. What does bloom do, though? Bloom is the crosshair's attempt at demonstrating the recoil from someone like Soldier 76 or Tracer. So when you're going full auto with these heroes, you know there's going to be a lot of recoil. Do you need an indicator? The only reason I can see using this is to train your burst firing with Soldier. So let's take a look at what this looks like. Here's the default reticle with Soldier and with bloom on. So you can see that as I spray, my crosshair expands out to indicate the recoil. Now, the problem with this is that it doesn't help our aim. All this helps us do is keep track of where our recoil's at. But if you're doing 4-shot bursts like this, then you don't really need to worry about it. And also, if you're spraying like this at a target, you don't really want your crosshair wider. It doesn't make your aim any better. All it does is indicate that, yes, you have high recoil, which you already know. So really, I think the bloom effect is totally unnecessary unless you're practicing, or if you're playing a game like Counter-Strike where you need more visual representation for where your recoil's at and if your aim is reset or not. Now for color, this one's preference, but really what you want to do is just make this something that works for you, something that's visible. I used to play a lot with yellow. I've also tinkered with this blue color. I don't know what the color is called because I'm an idiot, but then I've also tried the pink, and the white I think is probably the worst one. So if you're going to go with one, I would go with a bright color that stands out for you. Even black works for some people. And just try it out. Really, it doesn't matter. It's whatever works for you here. And for type, so let's go into the type here. The default is basically the hero's default crosshair. So they're varied between heroes, and they're varied, and some of them are good, some of them are bad. I pretty much hate most of them, because I just find that they make unnecessary things like this. I don't find that this helps me. You know what I mean? I don't find that it's basically a rangefinder. Like, but you can't, you have to still learn. I mean, I don't know. I don't find that helps me. But if you find that it helps you with Hanzo, then by all means, whatever works for you, right? But luckily for us, if we go into the options, we can set the specific heroes with specific crosshairs. So if we want to set a default for, like, let's say we do like Hanzo's, we can select Hanzo and we can have his on default, and then we can go to all heroes or the other heroes and change theirs as well. So what I recommend you do if you're going to do that is change the all heroes settings first, and then go in, like the ones that you want to apply to everyone generically, and then go into each individual hero that you want to adjust and change it there. Now let's cover the basic styles of the crosshairs. So let's take a look at what they look like. We're going to turn bloom off as well, and we're going to change it to the green color. Let's take a look at the circle first. This is okay. I mean, but the problem is that the circle, what does it add for us? What does it do? It doesn't, I mean, it's big and it's easy to see. So that's I think an okay part, but really, like, it's a little crazy big, you know? Like, we don't need a crosshair this big. Generally, when you're selecting the crosshair, you want to try to balance. You want visibility, like to see your targets, and you also want to be able to track your crosshair easily, just kind of knowing where it is in the screen. Generally, with your eyes, you don't want to be following your crosshair. You want to be looking at your target and then moving your crosshair to the target. Next up, we'll just look at crosshairs. These are the big, the ones that kind of like Soldier has for his default crosshairs, and they're obnoxious. Honestly, if I had to be honest with it, they're obnoxious. They're too big. You don't need them this big unless, again, you're losing track of where your crosshair is and you find that you're having problems aiming. Usually, I would say that people that are newer to FPS will probably prefer these more. That doesn't mean if you use them, you're new to FPS or you're some kind of noob. That's not what I mean. but I don't think that these are the greatest. Now let's look at short crosshair. Short crosshair, this is my preferred one for pretty much all situations with bloom off. It's small, it has a small gap in the middle of it so you can hit distance shots, and it's, you know, it's not obnoxious. It's just a simple crosshair, and it allows you to kind of, I guess, just see the battlefield, I guess, see where your targets are, and, you know, make those shots a little bit cleaner. Now, the dot's used by a lot of people, and personally, I find it a little difficult to use, and it's probably because I don't play as often. So it's a little bit harder to keep track of where your crosshair is with the dot. It takes some getting used to. And if you don't need to keep track of where your crosshair is, you just know innately exactly where the center of your screen is pretty much without thinking about it, then this might be the crosshair for you. It's maximum visibility on your you know, target selection. And that can be beneficial. So this is probably the best crosshair to use if you are at that level. I'm certainly not at that level. A lot of pros will be at that level, and you kind of got to play a lot, and you got to play consistently to kind of get that, I don't know, it's not quite muscle memory, but just that built-in knowledge of, I guess, where that, it's a comfort level, really, of where that crosshair is. I hope you guys found this helpful. If you did, consider clicking that like button and subscribing for more Overwatch content. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and good luck in your competitive matches.